Here we go. Wait, take.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score!
That's right, y'all. It's time for No Weddings in the Fall. I'm Jason Cooper with the man of the hour, Mr. Ben Troupe. Welcome into the studio, sir.
Mitchell, it's always good to be in your presence, sir. Look, I mean, every week we get to come on here and talk about all things college, NFL, the good, the bad, the ugly. It is No Weddings in the Fall. I don't care what you do. You better get married in the other 3 seasons. If I catch you in inside of a freaking church and it's supposed to be the fall, I'm gonna say, sir, give me that card. Why? This is your football card. I'm taking it from you because you ain't one of us. You one of them. You are not like us. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
I love it. Your football card is in my pocket.
And I'm gonna send it to the commissioner, and you would only get it back after you go through a review. You got to come up for a review. And so, listen, man, you got to state your case. And if he says no, you don't get it. What's good with fantasy football? What's good?
Fourth and Flex, my boy Bandy saying what's up. How are you, my brother? Don't forget, I'm gonna send you out. Don't forget, Bandy's Flex starts of the week. You know I'm gonna be hitting you up for that in a little bit.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, before we get started tonight, we got to pay the bills a little bit. Don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy. Got lots of great DFS fun on your Sunday and your Thursday. They got Thursday night specials. They got Sunday night. They got all type of ways you can play. Go check it out. Use a promo code Troupe, and we'll double that deposit up to $100. Thank you, sir. Don't forget, also, if you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit the subscribe. Hit the comment. Put a like in there. Little things stopping you from doing that, but big things popping for us when you do. So we appreciate it. All right. So, my friend, we are going to go back in time a little bit because we got to talk about last week on repeat. Yo, shout out to whoever made that little rip on YouTube because I found it was uncopyrighted. You know, man, that's a nice little jam, though. I like that. I like it. All right, let's go to the college ranks first. Let's bring up the upset of the week with Notre Dame getting upset by NYU. I even wrote on the note, big upset in that matchup. Notre Dame obviously very outplayed. What is NYU? Oh, I'm looking now. They're the Huskies. I was like, what's their little thing? But I was sitting there peeping it while I was at the restaurant, and I'm like, man, Notre Dame, really is struggling. And they really did. Riley Leonard threw 2 picks. And Ethan Hampton had a decent game, made no mistakes, obviously, which helped them pull off this upset. But who cares what I think? Let's go to my man, Ben Troupe. What's your thoughts on this big upset in the college ranks?
I loved it because as you know, Commissioner, I love chaos, right? Everybody want to talk about there is no bigger name, and brand in college football than Notre Dame. They roll to the beat of their own drum. They got touchdown Jesus, right? They don't have to worry about nothing but the regular season. And that's why, as the game went on, I was like, Notre Dame, y'all gonna do something crazy. Y'all gonna do something crazy. You mentioned Riley Leonard. That bad pick that he threw at the end of the game, and then NIU was like, look, dude, we ain't got nothing to lose, right? The whole world expects us to lose. Outside of our little part, of the country, no one expects us to do it. And I'm just looking at Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is going, I know. And they got to put up the stat. NIU have never, in 14 tries, they had never beat a top 5 team. Never. Top 5, top 10. And you kind of knew something was coming. And I said, Notre Dame, will Notre Dame survive this? We don't know. But for one weekend, it was all about them Huskies, man. We talking about Northern Illinois. And the head coach was crying after the game saying, look, I mean, he said, we don't need luck, man. We got each other. But here's the big kicker that people don't get. Not only did NIU beat Notre Dame, Notre Dame had to give them a check for $1.4 million. So I took your win and I took your money. Yeah, because usually in these type of games, these lower tier schools, they get beat up, but they get money for their program. Usually around 1.2. So think about it. I got $1.4 million to go straight to the football program, probably the athletic department. Athletic Association, and we beat y'all. So I don't know if that's money well spent for Notre Dame, but if you NIU nothing says parity and in football more than when the big schools get beat by the small schools. So shout out to NIU, man. Like I say, listen, if it's any given Sunday, if anybody can get it on Saturday. And guess who got it? Notre Dame got it. So Fighting Irish, I know y'all got y'all Dukes up, but y'all got knocked the hell out on Saturday, and I was loving it. I was loving it.
Yeah, and welcome to the national stage, Antonio Brown. What a game for him. He had 20 carries for 99 yards. Didn't get in the end zone that way, but got in the end zone on a huge play. 2 receptions, total 126 yards, and that TD. Ooh-wee. Welcome, everyone looking at you now, my friend. So big win. You said it yourself. I've always been a little bit of an Notre Dame hater, to be honest, because I feel the same way you do. I feel like they got the NBC contract back in the day. Like you said, the no conference play, like you special. Nah, so I'm with you on that, and I'm totally happy to see a big upset.
Marcus Freeman got that Jalen Rose edge up. I mean, whoever his barber is, keep him nice, right? But the NIU coach said something before the game he said was interesting. He said, I came out and told my team, hey, Rocket Ishmael ain't coming out their locker room. And he heard crickets. He's like, dang, they don't know who Rocket Ishmael is. He said, Joe Montana. Like, oh, Joe Montana play. That just show you, like, this kid, like, I don't know who Rocket Ishmael is. You know who Joe Montana? Joe Montana ain't running out. Listen, I like you, Riley Leonard, but you are no Joe Montana. So listen, shout out to them Huskies, though, man. I think that's why we watch college football, to watch our team win and watch our rival lose, and we watch it for chaos. Well, for one weekend, it was all about Notre Dame not getting it done. They still got the regular rest of the games to go, but nothing is worth nothing. No worse confidence, killer commish when you lose to a team that you thought you were supposed to win. And everybody got the memo, but NIU. And listen, not only did I not get the memo, that check cleared. That 1.4 million. Oh, that's already been deposited. It's already going out. Not to the students, but we'll see what happens. So shout out to the Blessings.
That's what's that the plate that they give out before church kind of thing. I mean, that's kind of what like,
NIU passed around the collection plate to nothing but Notre Dame alums and students, and they said, no, that ain't enough. What? Yeah. That ain't enough money in this plate, bro. But what you mean? I need 1.4 million at the least. You want 1.4 million? Either write a check or give me them ducats, them greenbacks. Yeah. I mean, 1.4 million, and we beat y'all. See, the contract says we give you the money and you lose. That's how it's supposed to go. And the NIU was like, no, dude, I'm not doing that. Well, I ain't listen. If you ever seen Any Given Sunday, no, coach, I ain't buying your brand. I'm Willie Beeman over here. So they got that job, man. Shout out to them Huskies, man. Shout out to them.
Willie Beeman, I love it. We got. I know my man Troupe plays fancy football. Of course, Ben plays fantasy football. We're going to talk a little NFL. I know what the next thing is. He's going to be like, well, don't forget to watch the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Podcast, right? Randy, that where you going next, bro? Come on, man. Damn, bro. Damn.
Don't and I'm gonna double that. Yeah, do not forget to watch the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Podcast. I said it here first. I don't know where it's gonna fall. Listen. I'm gonna shout out to my people. They shouting out to me, man. Listen, you can't go wrong. You know, Fourth and Flex Fantasy Podcast.
Even damn, bro, he's just loving it over here. All right, listen. Now I want to say this to you. You're my boy. I mean, I got nothing but love for you. But you sent me this game. Like, why? The Gators? Because you want to talk about your Gators?
No. I didn't send you Florida versus Sanford because I want to talk about my Gators. I sent you Florida versus because I want to talk about DJ Lagway. Go DJ. That's why DJ Lagway. Because the thing is, right? Everybody knows, Commish, when you the Gatorade National Player in high school, you ain't got nowhere to go but down because people expecting you to not. So DJ Lagway gets in the first game against your Hurricanes, and he looked normal. Miami is making everybody looking normal thus far this season. So Graham Mertz gets a concussion, got knocked the hell out by your Hurricanes. So DJ Lagway got to step in. Now I know it's Sanford. I get it. Take nothing away from Sanford. It's how he looked, not that he did it. 465 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The boy looked the part. And for one Saturday night, The young man did his thing. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean moving forward. Could mean nothing at all. That could be I don't know. But I just wanted to say, from coming from a fan base and an alum, that I just wanted something to feel. Look, you root for them Canes. You know what it's like. Sometimes I just want to feel good for a weekend. That's it. I just want to feel good. So it had less to do with the game and more to do with the fact that shout out to the young man who got a lot of potential. Obviously, he's the future, not the present. But, man, he did his thing, man. True freshman. I don't care what position you play. You got to step out there. It could be crazy, but he went out there and did his thing. So it wasn't about the game, but just to show love to Mr. Go DJ. That's my DJ. Last name Lagway. Bad man for one weekend. That's all.
You stole my whole thunder, man, because I was going to be like, we're going to talk about this.
When I see you probably like this. What a what are you?
Nah, because what I did was I wrote in right after that. I was like, well, we're going to talk about Florida. We're going to talk about them Canes, too. 56.
Listen. Cam Ward and them Canes. Let me say this right now. Let me show you the significance of Cam Ward and what he did. And I'm not saying it's coincidental. We always talking about the U. What's on Netflix right now? What's on it right now? The U. You think that's coincidental? No. This is what Netflix did, and I got to give them credit. They said, look, we don't want to put it out. They got to give us a reason to. Florida versus Miami. Miami come up to Florida, beat the hell out of us. Cam Ward, put it out. Well, put it out right now. So shout out. Let me say this. I can be a fan of what the U is, right? And still, understand that, look, man, y'all know who I'm rooting for every weekend. But the U, if you don't know about the U, not to give them any more pub than they need, you doing yourself a disservice. Because a lot of us, listen, the U is real similar to the Cowboys. Yes, their greatest day. I don't think their greatest days are behind them. But just know this. Every head coach that ever came through the U at one point was winning natties. All of them were. I don't care who it was. So, Jimmy Johnson really walked out of Coral Gables and walked into freaking Dallas. Michael Irvin over here. All I'm saying is, if you had a Cane and on your NFL team back in the day, they was doing it. Who went into the Hall of Fame this year? Devin Hester, Andre Johnson. What they got to go? Not only did they play at the U, they played at the same time at the U. So, listen, shout out to the U, man, doing what they do, man. They are a part of college football fabric. And they are a real brand, not these brands that ain't never won anything. Talking about we won the best brand. No, you're not. You got good branding, you're not a brand. So shout out to the U, though, man, getting it done this year. And listen, if they keep winning, look out Texas, look out Georgia. If them boys keep winning, they're going to ruin somebody's season. Definitely going to find themselves in Charlotte in the ACC championship game. And Cam Ward, you'll become a legend, young man. If you win you'll be the first Cane to win an ACC championship for them boys. Ooh, that's legendary status. So shout out to them Canes.
Yeah, I mean the fever is on. That's all I got to say. I didn't want to say the heat is on because it feels a little cheesy. But it's the truth. You could feel the excitement around the team. I know it's been a while for as a fan that we've been. There's always been that like they're looking good, and then all of a sudden they get whooped by Wake Forest or somebody that they weren't expecting. Duke, I remember them losing to a couple. I'm like, bro, really? So, long story short, as you mentioned, it's just nice to have the U back, and not just because I'm a fan. It's just nice to have them part of their college.
Man, they're good. Listen, they're good for the game. We gonna need Florida, Miami, and Florida State to all be good at the same. It seems like Florida State want to be good one year, Florida want to be good one year, Miami want to. So right now it's the Canes, and if you don't like it, you better hope you don't got the plan because Cam Ward, he coming for everybody, and Shadur Sanders in Colorado, y'all better be lucky he ain't playing y'all because he'll come for y'all.
We get there next. Good segue, my friend. But I will shout out your boy, man. I mean, that's 456 yards, 3 TDs, even ran for 17 yards. That's not a bad day at all. All right, let's get to it. We'll talk about your boy, your Colorado Buffaloes. I know you love Colorado, but Nebraska Cornhuskers, 28-10 on them. So, not so neon in Colorado right now. But I do want to shout out Travis Hunter because this guy, I mean, this is just some old school. I just love this kid. Like, hello, 10 receptions, 110 yards. And of course, he got a tackle. So, and 2 assists as well. So, I mean, damn, like, come on, bro. Like, go take a break. But shout out to Travis Hunter. Obviously, if you watch the game, Nebraska was running football pretty well with Dante Dodwell, if I'm saying that correctly. And, look, the bottom line is the flash is great and that's fun. It's almost the U kind of feel to them, but that does not, it's not reflecting. It hasn't, you gotta build some winning behind that too. So, but anyway, what are your thoughts, my friend, on this one?
There's a lot of sizzle coming out of Colorado these days, man. The steak, still waiting on the steak, right? But I will say this, though. The thing about Colorado is it's not Colorado, the team. It's the aura of Colorado. Deion, Shadur, Travis Hunter, Shiloh, the celebrities, the notoriety. And if you in college football, you're like, what? So Nebraska, Coach Matt Rule, he said, look, we're gonna show them boys what this atmosphere is like. Now, if somebody need to tell the Colorado Buffaloes offensive line, they got the block for Shadur because that dude was getting beat up. And listen, happy for his brother Shiloh. I know he broke his forearm. I heard he's doing really, really well. But Travis Hunter is a bad boy. He is. But that cornerback told Travis Hunter it's going to be a long day for you. Travis Hunter called him trash. That's the same cornerback that picked off Shadur for a pick 6. That's the same cornerback. And I will say this. Is Nebraska that much better than Colorado? No. But for one afternoon, yes. Because people want to see Colorado lose, not because they don't like the players. They want to tell Deion, hey, man, we know who you are. You are the biggest figure as a coach in college football. Bigger than Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney, Coach Day, you name them. But you hear off of swag and past achievements. It ain't about what you're doing now. Because if we judge your mayors off of what you're doing, you're gonna have listen, most of these celebrities ain't never been to no Colorado, man. Stop playing. They ain't never know Colorado. For real, like, let's go up here. No, that's the Deion effect. Just like a lot of them had never been to Jackson, Mississippi. That's the Deion effect. But Deion don't play. Deion gonna have swag before the game, after.
I don't know if I lost you or just me. I don't know what's going on. All right. Well, I'll just keep talking if that's been frozen up over there. Long story short, as we mentioned, the bottom line is, the what Ben said. All right, let's move on. We're going to go on to the NFL, and hopefully Ben will be getting back to us here in a second. Let's start with the Dolphins and the Jaguars. Now, I can talk about this one easy because I was sitting front and center for this. And, look, when you're at this ball game, you can see things a little bit differently than you're from watching from home. What I saw in the beginning of this football game was the Dolphins making this game completely easy for the Jaguars. Okay, sorry. It's kind of, I'm a little off because I go beer by myself. I don't like the way he's looking at me, Coop. Yeah, I had to kick him out. I'm sure hopefully he'll be coming back in a second. Try to keep the show must go on. So I'm trying to keep this moving. So Dolphins win in this matchup. And like I said, they were making the ball game way too easy for the Jaguars. They were giving them possession. I think we were on a 4th down twice in that first half, and around the 50-yard line, not getting it twice, thusly giving them the football back and good field position. And again, making it easy for them with penalties. Not to say that as I'm sitting there, I see the same infractions that we're getting called on. I could see the same infractions on the other side, and they were not getting called. But I'm also a fan, so whatever. I might have aqua colored glasses on, if you will. But the fact of the matter was they did make the game too easy. And in the second half, they came back and corrected that. It was more a focus on the on the defensive side, they started to step up a little bit. Javon Holland made that huge punch out toward the goal line. That made this a huge game, and Ben's back with us. That was a huge play in that matchup. All right, Ben's back with us, so it saved me because I was here stumbling and fumbling over here. America's team. That's right, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, my God.
I was just rolling on.
I got to remember when you say America's team, you're talking about the Dolphins too. When you saying it, I got to remember that.
That's it. I'm going to make it a thing, man. I'm telling you, we're just going to make it a thing at some point. But anyway, long story short, my thoughts on the game, as I'll just sum up to Ben. Basically, I was just talking about how the Jaguars, the Dolphins made the game easy for the Jaguars in the beginning of the game, went for it twice in fourth down situations, which gave the Jaguar and didn't get it and gave the Jaguars good field position and penalties, mistakes. There was no holes being open for these running backs neither. That to me is a little concerning going forward. But other than that, Raheem Mostert obviously is out for this upcoming matchup, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But other than that, they came out unscathed. And a W is on the board either way. I'll take it because we ain't gonna be talking about that short victory at the end of the year. We're gonna talk about 1-0 and whatever record they are.
Jags ain't built for prime time. You don't even got to get it. Just go ahead and switch it. You give the Miami Dolphins a 17-point cushion, you'll never catch them. You will never catch them. You give the Jags a 17-point cushion. They got Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne. You know why you didn't want to talk out after the game? Because you fumbled at the one. That is you. You fumbled it. And it happens. It happens, right? But here's the thing. Miami PD, just leave him alone. He was speeding. Let him go in the game. Here's the thing, though. They're going to find a way to make this thing work for both parties. But Tyreek Hill, 80-yard touchdown pass. You're going to cover him one-on-one and try to catch him? How did that work out? 100 yards for Waddle, over 100 yards for Tyreek. Tua said, "Look, man, as long as I got Tyreek, we good." But yeah, shout out to them Dolphins getting that big club. And if you're a Jaguars fan, hey man, Trevor Lawrence, he got his money. And listen, both defenses played well. Jalen Phillips, come back off that Achilles, get a big sack, man. But hey, them Dolphins saying, "Look, Jags, I know we in the same state. We don't neither one of us got to pay state tax, but it's levels of this, and y'all ain't on out. Y'all in North Florida." They South Florida for real. Shout out to them Dolphins getting it done.
I could probably spend like an hour by myself talking about that Tyreek thing because some may know, my wife is a criminal defense attorney, and I laid in bed that night. And let me tell you, this woman replayed that video about 1,000 times, the body cam. That's all I kept hearing was the whole interaction. I could tell you word by word everything that happened. It was crazy. But look, the bottom line, my thought on that situation was that to me, it was, everyone, not everyone, but there's a few people saying Tyreek could have handled himself a little bit better. But also at the same time, the police officer is the one who is the person in authority at that moment. So to me, it's like, anything, it falls on the person who is in authority. And, to act like, you're basically, you got upset and it became a pissing match for you at that point. So you got to show him who's boss kind of thing. And that's the kind of people that we don't need in law enforcement, because that's not somebody who thinks rationally. It's like they go off emotion. And that's not the type of person you want in the law enforcement. There's plenty and a lot of great police officers, but there's also a few that, as I said, will do that. And speaking of that,
of course, your wife is a criminal defense attorney. She broke that thing. She's in there telling you, she's saying, Jason, do you hear me? What? You're like, she's breaking that angle. And you make a great point when you say this. The police, for those of you who don't know, we employ them. Like we employ them, right? And I'm not saying, listen, to be a police officer is a very dangerous job. We are not negating the risk of being a police officer. But if you're a police officer with a giant ego, you shouldn't be an officer, because people are going to say he should have rolled his window down. It was a traffic violation. I gave you my license and registration. What do you want? Oh, I want you to roll your window down. Get out the car. Calais Campbell, checking on his teammate. All right. Oh, you don't want to leave? I'm far away from it. Still get handcuffed. And here's the thing. The police officer got jurisdiction of the county, of the city, of the state, government, all these things. And all I'm saying is, yes, yes, Tyreek could have handled it better, but here's the thought. Who's a professional that said Tyreek is a professional athlete? He's on his way to do his job. So, and I know it's not easy being a cop, but at the same time, it ain't easy being a dad. It ain't easy being a husband. It ain't easy being a father. It's a lot of things that's not easy to be, but to say Tyreek could have handled it better. Tyreek didn't say, I'm Tyreek Hill, did he? The cop said that's Tyreek Hill. He didn't say, do you know who I am, did he? So he didn't flex his celebrity to get out the ticket. He said, hey, man, give me my ticket so I can go. Mm-hmm. He's in a hurry. And I know, listen, that I don't know what type of Lambo that was. That thing looked like it's real fast. And it was blacked out. But a Lamborghini going 100 miles an hour in Miami is about as normal as palm trees in Miami. It's about as normal as it gets. So, like I said, everybody going to learn from it. Tyreek, he handled himself very professional in that post-game press conference. He didn't use it as a means to try to throw dirt. But these cops didn't handle it right. Like I say, man, if you only who you are because of that badge, do something else. Because you take the badge off every day and you become come on, man. But, yeah, it was, like I said, if it wasn't Tyreek, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But Tyreek said, what if it wasn't me? What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, though? How would they have handled it then? You see what I'm saying? So, shout out to Tyreek, though, for handling it the right way, man. You know, going handling his business in the game. You know, fantasy owners was like, hey, man, somebody stop him every week. Somebody just pull him over. Because if he gonna play like that, just pull him over. But I think everybody gonna learn about it. Mike McDaniel was getting all choked up in his post-game press conference talking about it and different things. But shout out to Calais Campbell. And I don't know who the other teammate was that stopped in the front. But shout out to both of those men for seeing a teammate in need and putting themselves in harm's way for him. And they just trying to see it. But hey, man, it's 2024. And when I say the reason why Stephen A. Smith said something, I believe he said, they asked him, why did you get in sports media? He said, because I didn't want the sports world. I want the whole world. The whole world come through this door. Everything that happened in life come through that sports door. But, hey, man, you are an ambassador, Tyreek, and you handled yourself accordingly. And if you one of those cops and you defending those cops, you should ask yourself, why are you defending the cop? The cop was in the wrong. Even if Tyreek was wrong, I said he wasn't wrong. He broke the law. He broke the traffic laws. He ain't no criminal. And the man, and I don't know how hot it was that day, but they had to face down on the pavement. That pavement is high. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it's a lot we can learn from it. It's not going to go away. Probably going to be talking about it every week. But shout out to Tyreek, man, showed a lot of poise, professionalism, and patience when it came to those freaking cops.
My final thought on this is shout out, as you mentioned, to Calais Campbell, because there was nothing cooler than the first play of the game. He's in the backfield sacking Trevor Lawrence, and I'm about to rip my shirt off. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like
former Jag, by the way, Calais Campbell.
Boy, that made me. And then he stopped Etienne on the next play even. Like, it was amazing the way it started. I was like, oh, my God. And, again, of course, shout out for him stepping up for Tyreek. The other thing I want to shout out real quick, though, is those Dolphin fans. Come closer. I'm sorry, man. I got to say it real quick. All of you are a bunch of pussies. The bottom line was you don't walk past this, your dude. There was no way I'd be in jail because there ain't no way I'd let Tyreek got handled like that. And I would have been all loud and everything. Trust me. I promise you. That's exactly what I would have done. How you going to sit there and just walk by as this is happening?
Listen, it ain't for. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't know if you would have had time to do the show today because you would have been a hometown hero. Number one, because you saying, listen, man, that ain't right. It's like sometimes I'm ready to put myself in harm's way for something that is right. Those cops, and like I say, all these cops, why don't we ever have a cop stop and say, man, calm down? Like, is it against the law for a cop to say, calm down, man? Like, okay, he didn't let his window down. Why we got to do it? You got to get him out the car. First, you got to put him on the ground. Then you let him get up. Then you say, hey, man, I had surgery on his knee. Once again, I ain't flex. I had surgery on his knee. Can I just sit down, put him on the ground again? And then you finally be like, man, just give him a traffic violation. All that. Just get, and one of the cops, that's Tyreek Hill. It's just so many. Like I said, this is why you love social media, because those cops are famous for the wrong reason. And when people say that's not everybody in the force, I say, well, here's the thing. If the good cops not going to talk about the bad cops are bad cops too. Because it's happening on your watch, man. And like I say, I don't know what it's like to be a cop, don't want to be a cop, but I respect cops. Just like I don't know what it's like to be in the military, even though the commissioner do know what it's like to be in the military. My brother was a Marine. I respect everybody that do it. But at the same time, I guarantee you, the Marine and Jason would have been like, hey, bro, what y'all doing? Don't touch me. Like, people think cops got all this authority. You do, but you can't abuse it. Once you abuse authority, that's what I don't like. And it got abused from the time they rolled up on it. You know what I'm saying? It's Miami, man. People, no, it's America. People speed. Somebody's speeding right now. No, what it was is they couldn't catch him. 100 miles an hour to Lambo probably feel like 50. So I ain't never had no Lambo, never drove one, but that thing was nice. That thing did look real nice on film.
Yeah, it was nice to see Tyreek obviously getting a big touchdown as well, bringing it back, and it's almost like at the little celebration when the hands behind me. The funny thing was I was up like I don't even know what I was doing. I was so pumped up, and my wife said, "Yo, did you see that? That was so funny." I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, he did the," and I was like, "No, I didn't." So anyway, I had to wait till later.
Listen. Let me tell you something. Nothing screams creativity more. You get an 80-yard touchdown, which is about as rare as it get in sports. Your teammate come up behind you and say, "Man, listen, we need to put you in. Boy, you dangerous out here. Let's get into the love, you know how much Tyreek realized how much his teammates love him? The Calais and those boys.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, could you imagine if Jalen Ramsey would have been drove by? He's pulling over. Jalen's pulling over 100%. Well, hey, man, it's got to be bigger than football sometimes. Real life happens all the time. And I just appreciate Tyreek for how he handled it. Because Tyreek understands this. Listen, man, I know I play football. I'm trying to get home to my wife and kids, man. I think his wife, I don't know if they had a baby yet, but, Coop said it best. We don't need people in authority like that who let their emotions. You ain't lying. Emotional intelligence, police officers. You get emotional intelligence means I am patient when the situation happens. I don't let my ego and adrenaline take over. You want to let your ego and adrenaline take over? Yeah, go. Hey man, go ask Mike McDaniels if they got some openers over there with the Dolphins. You can let your ego run ragged if you play football, but if you're a cop, come on, man. You are a reflection of the community that you serve, because that's who employ you. Keep those people in mind. That's it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, a big win for Tyreek and America's team. Got a big one coming up tomorrow night. We'll be talking about in a minute. Let's talk about your Titans. Bears versus the Titans. Bears won 24-17. This was like, to me, one of those games that was like, I thought at first, man, the Titans, they were looking. Now, again, I was at the Dolphin game.
Looking like the Jags against your Dolphins.
Right. And defense won the game, and special team versus what we all thought it would be Caleb Williams. But that Titans secondary is for real. But what were your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on the Titans game was the same thing I thought about when it comes to certain teams don't know how to close. Certain teams ain't used to playing with leads. Certain teams aren't used to being in the driver's seat. Certain teams are passengers. The Titans right now, they're passengers. You wasted that defensive effort by, Harold Landry and company, those guys, and, Jeffrey Simmons and those guys for two reasons. First name Will, last name Levis. Will Levis did something on Sunday that only Marcus Mariota can understand, right? He's on the ground, and you listen. I be telling these quarterbacks, stop looking at Patrick Mahomes. You ain't him. You're gonna flick the ball out. You're gonna flick in the NFL. You flick the ball out. Only this time, Will, it got picked off for a touchdown. Caleb Williams didn't even have 100 yards passing. Caleb Williams realized real quick this ain't USC, and that is not UCLA over there. I do believe he's going to be better, but he still won the game, and he gave a shout out to the special teams, shout out, to the defense. But Will Levis, listen, man, what? Like, there are things that when you do in football that if I've never seen it before, I don't even know how to react. Head coach don't even know how to react. He like, what are you? So, like I say, shout out to the Monsters of the Midway getting a big dub, because they know it's about building confidence for Caleb Williams. He's going to have a better, performance probably in game 2 and moving forward. Roma Duze, I know he's dealing with an injury. Right now they are the first round pick out of UW, but It just everything is overshadowed with the play of Will Levis. Then they show him on the sideline in the face of all his teammates talking, "We're gonna be all right." No, are you all right? We fine. What are you doing? So, hey man, shout out to Chicago. You know, my homie Ryan, Ryan McCormick, he's a producer of my show 84 Reasons. He's a Bears fan. He was nervous at first. At first, he wasn't texting me, wasn't really saying anything, Commissioner. Then when they won, But hey, man, Will Levis. They got rid of Malik Willis. They got rid of a lot of people to keep you around. Rand Carthon, GM of the Titans. You picked this man in the second round. Now, what you say to Will Levis in his face is not what you say to your wife and kids at home. Well, I'm telling you now, Will Levis, get it together. What in the world? You had a number one overall pick at the quarterback position, and you gave the game away because you're trying to be. Your last name is Levis, not Mahomes. Okay? Stop with the nonsense, man.
Shout out to our homie, Deb Wickus from the Blonde Blitz, giving
What's
a go.
Up, yeah?
Ben, appreciate you. If you missed it earlier, Ben was on the premiere of the Blonde Blitz, so you can check that out on our channel at your discretion. And the final thought on that game, Tony Pollard actually looked nice in that game.
Very good. But for nothing. Shout out to Chig Okonkwo, the tight end. Nice to Chig, keep playing. Will, we can see you. We are looking right at you. Stop with the nonsense, man. For real. It's game one. And no seasons won or lost in one season, but we had a chance of being the 1-0, category. Now we gotta try to get back to our winning ways a week two. Probably won't happen, but wishful thinking.
It probably won't happen. All right, so let's talk about the Sunday night delight, the Lions versus the Rams. Lions winning in OT 26-20. David Montgomery with the final TD. What do you think? What were your thoughts, man? I mean, I was kind of half asleep at this point, but it was such a good game. Like I couldn't go to sleep. It was like I was like, no, I gotta keep watching. What were you thinking of this matchup?
Listen, the best combination in football, I don't care what people say, is Matthew Stafford, right? The Cooper Kupp. You cannot stop them. When they decide, hey, cool, what? You ready? I'm ready. They just start going back and forth. But here's the thing. Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions don't like people. They're like a pride. Listen, they punch people in the mouth. They went to overtime. They said, Jared, don't worry. We're going to hand the ball off every single play. And this is the thing that Jared Goff told Matthew Stafford is, listen, man, I'm going to keep on saying this, man. When I went to the Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp was hurt. We didn't play that well in offense. I get it. When you went to the Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp was healthy, and he was a Super Bowl MVP. But anything you could do, I could do better. Listen, you weren't a winner when you was here. I'm trying to bring a winning tradition, to Detroit. To the D, Jared Goff told Matthew Stafford, I know you got the Super Bowl, and I don't, but I got the dubs over you every time we played. So two years in a row, same result. Shout out to Dan Campbell, you know what I'm saying, and the Detroit Lions. Good game, man. I mean, back and forth, a fair, winning overtime. And Dan Campbell said, if we get the ball, they will not get it back. Why? Because we going to score. Touchdown, game over, turn the lights out. And they asked Matthew Stafford, hey, man, I know you ain't like hearing them. You ain't like hearing people chanting Jared Goff name. He said, I don't like it. Yeah, well, beat him then. If you don't like it, beat him. Oh, that's right. You can't beat him. So, and for people saying this could be a potential NFC championship game, Matthew Stafford don't want that. He don't want that. But great game, though. Sunday Night Football, like it, under the lights. What can I say, man? Detroit Lions are winning football games consistently. And who brought them out? The great Megatron, Calvin Johnson, sitting there in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Lions throwback. But shout out to the Lions, man. 1-0. And Aiden Hutchinson, everything I said about you before the draft, I'm eating crow. I'm eating humble pie right now. You a bad, bad man. Shout out to Aiden Hutchinson.
I know you shout out Calvin, but let me shout out one other person. You know who's really mad right now? Barry Sanders. Like, damn, bro. Why can't y'all have done it?
Barry Sanders go, wait a minute. Jared Goff winning? Yep. Calvin Johnson ain't there? Nope. Matthew Stafford ain't throwing passes? Nope. We got to do our best receiver's name is St. Brown. And that ain't even really his last name, but they just threw Saint in there. But yeah, man, I mean, hey, man, Dan Campbell got something going. The Detroit Lions play for Dan Campbell. They want to win for him. And listen, St. Brown said, he said, look, man, I want to win a championship for Detroit. You win a championship for Detroit? Like people say, what is it like? Ask Chauncey Billups, right? Ask Beanie Wallace and them boys. Ask, you know what I'm saying? When they won the championship with them Pistons, stop playing with me. But we'll see. But Detroit, it is only one game. It is, and Sean McVay, sorry, Sean McVay, you could beat a lot of people. You can't beat Dan Campbell. 2 years in a row, 2 L's in a row. They serving up fresh L's in Detroit on Sunday night.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, such a great matchup in the playoffs last year, and then another great matchup again. Man, I can see this as the NFC conference championship again, quite frankly, or sorry, not conference, but at least another playoff matchup. Funny thing is, all right, so Bandy, love what that organization is building. All right, so it's funny that you say this. Great little segue. The last thing I want to say, Dan Campbell statue coming if they win the Super Bowl. You know what's funny about that, Bandy, is that they're down in Miami. You know, Dan Campbell took over, and still to this day, people love Dan Campbell so much that there's still this statue down there that this fan made. It's like I don't know what it's made out of, but it's basically Dan Campbell, like all muscled up, and they still sporting that down there. They still love Dan Campbell, bro. So that's how much.
I think Mike McDaniel got something to say about that, but he gonna have to keep winning.
You know yeah, things are starting to change a little bit. Yeah. So but people really did like the way Dan Campbell coached, and he just seems like a really good dude. All right, we're running a little long, Ben, and I know you wrote down Giants and Vikings. I don't know what the hell you want to talk about that.
Listen, I'll keep it short and sweet about Giants and Vikings. I'll keep it short and sweet. The same way I told Will Levis what the hell going on with you, Daniel. Daniel, what are you doing? Right? I'm just saying, this whole offseason, they kept saying, get a quarterback, get a quarterback, get a quarterback, get a quarterback. All the quarterbacks gone. All of them. Free agents, rookies, gone. So you gotta deal with Daniel. You pick Daniel over Saquon. You want to know what losing? And Giants ain't even a losing organization. They wanted the pride and joys of the NFL. I'm saying, listen, Mr. Jones, page him, Mr. Jones. He's not in the building. He's here, but we don't know who the hell this is. Okay, I'm just saying. I just wanted to say. Oh, here's another thing. Kayvon Thibodeau. If you have 0 sacks and 0 tackles, and you don't want to answer questions, don't play for New York. Because guess who else has 0 sacks? Brian Burns. Y'all with Dexter Lawrence. So don't get mad. Give me the next question. You're not good enough to not answer questions. Daniel, Mr. Brian Burns, Mr. Thibodeau, I know how to pronounce your name. I cannot spell it. You need to get to the quarterback. That was an ugly. Listen, I mean, Sam Darnold said, "Hey, bro, I ain't seeing ghosts now. I see Justin Jefferson. I see Jordan Addison." So I just want to say, Mr. Jones, you need to stop hanging out with Will Levis. Y'all need to go to the store called "What the hell is going on?" We here to get right and keep it right. That's it. I just want to get that out my system. I'm done.
I'm gonna just give one little give up. I agree with you in everything you said, but I'm gonna give Daniel Jones a little bit of credit to say the Giants organization did him no favors. Nothing in the running game. Devin Singletary, and now you great job getting Malik Neighbors. But who the hell else he gonna throw to on that roster? So again, Daniel Jones, obviously, he's just not it. He may be a good backup QB somewhere. He's not a starter in the NFL. I think we all have known that for quite a while. But again, he's had some okay seasons when things were set up, Saquon Barkley, and he's got weapons. Yeah. Unfortunately, this team is just not set up for any quarterback. No. Quite frankly. So, all right, let's move on. We're going to talk about this week. Let's talk about what we're going to watch. All right, an NCAA action this week. We got this is what I'm talking about, rankings. You got an unranked Husky team that beat the number 5 team, and they still 18th. Why are they even ranked?
Because they want to still be in the top 25 to give them a chance to move back up in the rankings to get, with 12 teams in the playoffs, they won't Notre Dame to be one of them. That has bias and lies written all over. No,
we already did a whole snippet in the first episode about this stupid ranking system. But what's your thoughts on this matchup?
Listen, Notre Dame versus Purdue. That's all I'm saying. Notre Dame better get back to their winning ways for two reasons. Notre Dame, because Marcus Freeman, everybody's watching you, not because of who you are, but because of who you coach. They didn't really want you to replace Brian Kelly when you did. They hired from within, which they usually don't do. You better get back to your winning ways because them Boilermakers, I think that's a train. They coming for you. So I just want to see them get back to their winning. All eyes will be on, you know what I'm saying, the Boilermakers this weekend versus Notre Dame.
Go Boilermakers. That's all I got to say on that. All right, let's go. Number 9, Oregon versus Oregon State. Little in-state rivalry. This should be a fun one. What is your thoughts on this one?
Listen, all I want to say about Oregon State, it used to be called the Civil War. They stopped calling it that in 2020. But Dan Lanning, right? Dan Lanning, you know, he got Dylan Gabriel, a Heisman Trophy finalist. I just want to see a good old fashioned, you know, a rival game, you know, third game of the season. I'm just here for the dislike.
I just want to say, why everybody so sensitive? Like, you know, oh man, I mean, ain't nobody really, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. Like when UCF used to play the University of South Florida, it was always
beautiful game,
the war on I-4. You know, like it's okay, it's funny. Like, just get over yourselves. All right, let's talk about what you got, Florida and Texas A&M. What you want? So what do you want to talk about?
Once again, I gave the go DJ. That's my DJ Lagway earlier. Now Florida is going to the two quarterback system. They're going to play Graham. They're going to play DJ. And for those people saying, "Oh, like Chris Leak and Tim Tebow," yes and no. Tim Tebow was a true freshman when he got to town, and Chris Leak was obviously a senior. They was able to make it work. The difference was DJ Lagway is a better thrower of the football than Graham Mertz. One is a senior, one is a true freshman. I just want to be able to say that because, you know, Texas A&M, they come into Florida, we haven't beat Texas A&M in a while. I just want to give a shout out to the two quarterback system at Florida these days. If you don't got one, you go with two. I don't know how long they're going to be able to do that. Just want to talk about my Gators. I try to get them in as much as I can. Didn't want to talk about it that much after week 1, but I had to because the Canes took it to the woodshed to beat the hell out of us.
Well, I'm just going to let you know, if this game's at 3:30, this is what I call the snore of the week because I want to be I just have fun with you. All right. I don't know if I added this or we got number 16th LSU versus South Carolina. I might have just added that in there, but maybe put that in.
You know, you're right. No, LSU. Listen, LSU, Brian Kelly. They need to get a good win under their belt because they started off the season losing to USC. But here's the thing: South Carolina. If you didn't see last week, they beat the hell out of Kentucky. They didn't beat them; they beat the hell out of them. I think this is the game that South Carolina could get because it's at home. And if Brian Kelly already lost to USC and he lose, listen, this is why. He already lost to USC on the West Coast. Now he finna got a chance to lose to USC on the East Coast. I'm just saying, there's something about them USC boys LSU don't like. I think it's going to be a better game than Shane Beamer ball in South Carolina. Should be a good game.
All right. I will probably not be watching that either. Let's go on to let's get on to the NFL action this week. And again, a shout out to Deb Wickus, who was our guest picker with you last week. You know, she put a little reel on Instagram, and you know she only lost 2 games. 2.
So Deb is who you're supposed to be going to Vegas with because she know who to pick. Okay.
I was like, damn, girl. Like, wow.
Deb is the plug.
I should have followed that. I would have won all them damn football pools I was in. And thank you, Bengals, for eliminating me for the year. Anyway, let's go on to Thursday night with America's team, the Miami Dolphins, facing off against that arch rival Buffalo Bills. God, Josh Allen, kiss my grits. Dolphins lead the series overall 62-58-1. The last matchup was won by the Bills. They won 21-14, swept us last year, and it's been 4 in a row for the Bills. Ben, who you like in this matchup?
Listen. It's always hard to go up against them Dolphins at home. I mean, I think they're a different team, but here's the thing about the Bills. They got Josh. First name Josh, last name Allen. He coming in limping, got a hurt left hand, right? I don't know if that's but he's right-handed. I know he's right-handed with his left hand being hurt. Listen, 11. He's 10-2 versus the Dolphins since he's been a starter. 11-2 if you count the playoffs. I think it's going to be a good game. But I just think the thing about Buffalo is, and right now they was able to get. Thank God they beat Arizona. They made that game way closer than it should. I still going to go with Buffalo for this reason. Tua, great quarterback in my opinion. Jalen Ramsey, highest paid defensive back. Right? Mike McDaniels, offensive guru. I think you're going to be down both of your starting running backs. I think Mostert and A-Chain going to be down out. That's going to be hard to deal with because as much as I love Tyreek, Waddle, I don't know what Odell Beckham Jr. is. I don't know when he's going to play. I know he's on the team. I think that's going to hurt the offense because it's going to make you one-dimensional, which means that defense is going to just pin it because Greg Rousseau, had 3 sacks last week. That would be the starting defensive end. Where's Von Miller, you ask? He's the closer. He's a backup now. That's how good Greg Rousseau is. I just think think both teams are mirror images of each other, what they want to do. Really, really good defenses. But Buffalo coming in with a better running game. James Cook, the brother of Dalvin Cook, that's the younger brother. He went to Georgia. Yeah, he's going to be running the rock. I say Buffalo gets a win at Miami. Listen, Buffalo wins in Miami. We'll talk about Miami at Buffalo later on in the year. But I just, quick turnaround. Injury bug, I think, is going to be the reason why I go with Buffalo. A-Chain and freaking Mostert, that's a lot of production. A-Chain doing it in the passing game too, if you didn't know. So I say Buffalo get a close win against America's team on Thursday.
All right, sit back, relax, let yourself go, because it's about time for me to start in on this game. Look, the bottom line has been America's team has a magic number for Josh Allen, and that's number 3. Because you just mentioned we're going to win by 3. He's going to beat us twice, or lost to us twice, so he's going to get his 3rd loss against us as well. Look, the fact is, I also like the fact that Jordan Poyer is on our team, longtime Bills safety. So, we're going to get a little bit of that. Go see might get a little bit of that revenge game factor going on. But I like how you brought up Mostert and A-Chan, because here is something that just a fantasy thing as well. Now, you did see Jeff Wilson Jr. come in spots, but I will tell you right now, if Jalen Wright is sitting out on your waiver wire, please go pick him up, because that guy looks like A-Chan on steroids. And I mean it, and he seems like a bigger version of A-Chan, maybe not as quick, but he is very quick. And I think if either both of them are down, I don't think the production is going to be lost. Now, where I do think we might have an issue, and I mentioned this earlier when I talked about the last game, is that the offensive line definitely struggled to create holes against the Jags front 7. So there's where we may see a struggle, not necessarily because it's Mostert or A-Chan being out. I think just right now, this offensive line is still kind of finding itself to create the holes. Luckily, from the vantage point that I'm at the stadium, you can see, if the lines are opening up or not, and they're just not there. They weren't there, and that was probably the reason why you've seen Mostert get stuck in a chest, and that's why he went out. So, I like us to win, and not because of fandom, but you mentioned the short turnaround. Buffalo is coming back, traveling here. We didn't go anywhere. We are at home. The only thing that sucks is that, look, just because someone whines about how hot it is, it doesn't mean you have to take our home field advantage away and put us at a night game. Like, how crazy is this? We don't go cry when we got to play in the cold. Like, what is this? Anyway, don't matter. We're going to beat you anyway. Dolphins win by 3. All right, Bucks at Lions. Lions leads this series overall 32-29. Last matchup was in the playoffs. Lions won the matchup 31-23. I mentioned this at some point that in that ball game, that even though the Lions won and the score doesn't reflect it, the Bucks really gave them all they could get. And this is, by the way, 2 in a row for the Lions. What do you think of this matchup?
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, Baker Mayfield has resurrected his career. Jared Goff is on a team that really wants him. This is what you have to worry about when it comes to the Bucs. Mike Evans. Mike Evans all he do is get it done. That's it. He ain't the biggest. You know, he about 6'5", very tall. He ain't the fastest. Two touchdowns on Sunday. But here's the thing about Detroit. Detroit is telling the Bucks, listen, man, nothing against y'all. I know y'all in the NFC South, probably gonna win the NFC South. This ain't the NFC South. Yeah, bro, this is NFC North. We play a little different style of football up here. I think it's gonna be a really, really good game. I really do, because you got two former playoff teams. I just think that Detroit is understanding, hey man, people are just waiting on us to look like the old Detroit Lions. It's not gonna happen, right? It's not. You know, Coach Bowles, I mean, what he's doing down there in Tampa, I mean, I really, really like it, because people thought they were gonna fall off the cliff once TB12 left in the booth now. But no, man, they finding a way to still be consistent, finding a way to still make plays. I just think Detroit is a better all-around team than Tampa. Give me them Detroit Lions, continue with their winning ways, to say, look, man, because Tampa wants to win. Detroit don't care how it wins. They just, man, we can win ugly. We can win, blowout, overtime. Give me them Detroit Lions to go to 2-0. But I do think them Bucks gonna make it very, very tight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good game. I'm excited to see it. Bandy put a little comment in earlier about Baker Mayfield being top QB in fantasy. I mean, great. Listen, I think we've talked about the Bucks before, bringing up, the respect that's been earned for Baker Mayfield. I mean, that's not nothing that's, he's kind of come out and, he was kind of like that Johnny Manziel almost. That's kind of like that feel he gave, like, this, I hate to say, but fake wannabe, because that's kind of the feel. I hate to say it, but that's just kind of the feel I got from it. So, but has definitely turned his career around and has played exceptionally well, period, point blank. But I don't think it's enough to beat the Lions at home. So I agree with you. I go Lions. Steelers at Broncos. Broncos lead the series 20-13-1. Steelers won their last matchup. It was in 2021, 27-19. And this does make it 2 in a row for the Steelers. What do you think?
Russell Wilson plays. He stares Sean Payton in the face and say, hey, bro, this is what happened when I play for a team that wants me. You ain't a good enough coach outside of New Orleans to be disrespecting me on the sideline, dude. You didn't want me no more? Fine. You didn't like the fact that I had two parking spaces? Fine. You thought they gave me too much money? Fine. You thought I was the problem? Fine. But are you winning games now? Have you won anything since Drew Brees left? So some could say that your best years was attached to a all-time great quarterback. But Russell Wilson plays, I think, obviously Pittsburgh is a better team top to bottom. And George Pickens is starting to show the world, hey, man, I'm one of the best receivers, right, that no one really knows about yet. I'm nice. So I go Pittsburgh, go to 2-0, and Russell Wilson gets the liquor shop. He gonna say all the right things, aka Mr. Go, Go Steelers. He's a company man. And he's always on brand. He's a company man that's always on brand. He is Russell. Last name Wilson, married to Sierra. I ain't mad at him. But this week, I want Russell Wilson to be like, hey, bro, who you think you're talking to? Sean Payton, disrespecting me. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh. Cause like I say, even though Bo Nix did look, as good as he can in the team, that outside of Cortland Sutton, outside of Javonte Williams, and outside of Patrick Surtain, I don't know who the hell play for Denver no more. I don't know none of them guys.
That's your best line. I love when you say that. Look, the fact is, not the fact. Sorry, I meant to say prior to me saying the fact is that the word on the street is that Justin Fields is going to be they're still lining him up, possibly to start.
I still go with the dub even more. You got a younger version of Russell Wilson. Hey man, Justin Fields, keep winning them games, young man.
I think that's a mistake because of what you just said. Because the fact is, Russell Wilson wants to show him show Sean Payton what time it is. So, it's that revenge game factor, and there's no better revenge game coming from the QB position. So if he's ready to go, I put his butt out there. Although I'm not to say anything negative against Justin Fields. If you watch any of my fantasy shows, that's all I've been talking about is that. He's somebody to pick up, because the fact is, if he wins this starting position, he's somebody fantasy-wise that could be a top 10 QB that you just picked up because of the fact that he runs so much. Now, does it make him the greatest NFL QB? No, but fantasy-wise, it makes him decent. So anyway, shout out to Justin Fields, but I would love to see Russell Wilson in a But I agree with you. I think Steelers win this matchup. Browns at the Jags. This is an interesting one here. Jags leading the series 12-7. Browns won last year 31-27, made it 2 in a row for them. Who do you think? What do you like in the matchup?
I think the Jazz get back to their winning ways for one reason and one reason only. Who? Deshaun Watson. I kept telling you, Commissioner, we haven't seen him in a while. And when I say haven't seen him in a while, I mean haven't seen him in a while play good football. Obviously, he had to deal with his suspension stuff, got his big contract, this and the third. Deshaun Watson needs to take a hard look in the mirror because, people say he ain't got nobody to throw to. Yeah, he do. Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, right? Elijah Moore. Yes, he does. David Njoku, man, get healthy, man. I know you're dealing with that ankle sprain right now, but I just think that you wasting a really, really good team right now because that defense is stout. What? That Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett. What? They got a squad, but Deshaun Watson gets the ball every play on offense. I don't know what I saw with Deshaun Watson on Sunday. I'm like, what in the world is that? So I think Jacksonville, because they squandered listen, man, I'm not gonna say they choked on Sunday, but they was coughing. They was coughing on Sunday. And and made sure, Dolphins said, don't worry, we'll come snatch that win from you. I think Jacksonville gets a big win in a Cleveland team that outside of if they had decent quarterback play, yeah, but I really don't know what to expect from Deshaun Watson at this point. And because he's making so much money, they got to play.
I was such a Deshaun backer, and it just feels like that was such a waste of time because he just I don't know what, like just being out of the game, just the speed is too much. I don't know what's going on, but definitely not the Deshaun Watson of old, for sure. I also agree with you. I think the Jags bounce back, especially at home in this matchup. All right, let's get to it. The Sunday night delight, Bears at Texans. Texans lead this series 4-2. They've only played 6 times. Bears won back in 2022, 23-20. Say that 2 times fast because they've won 2 in a row. So what do you think of this matchup?
I think that Texas defense is going to be looking at Caleb Williams and say, hey, man, I know you had problems week 1. Week 2 ain't going to get no different from you. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson and Petrie and those guys in the secondary. Derek Stingley Jr. going to look at Caleb Williams and say, throw it to DJ Moore if you want to. Throw it to him. And watch what I do to him. Roma Duzé, I think he's dealing with an injury right now. I don't know if he's going to play. But I just think that this offense for the Texans looks real similar to the offense of Chicago. Difference is, one of them is the number 1 overall pick from 2024. The other one's the 2nd overall pick from 2023. I just think that Diggs and Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Schultz, Joe Mixon, they got player after player after player, and who's a straw that stirs the drink? That would be Mr. C.J. Stroud, who's only getting better. Yes, he had to go back and forth for athleticism last week with Anthony Richardson. I just think for me, I think that Caleb Williams takes another step. I do think he looks better in week 2, but I don't think he comes out with the victory. That defense is going to be hard to move the ball against. That Chicago defense has gotten really, really good. Stay away from Jalen Johnson's side. Just stay away from one side of the field because he's nice. But I think Houston is a very young team, but they're a year ahead of schedule because they know how to win. So give me Houston with a big win against the Chicago boys, even though Caleb Williams is going to look more of the part. No, I don't think he's going to go for 4,000 yards. I don't know why that's even. No, we never had a Bears quarterback over. Who cares? Who cares? 4,000 yards means what? You used to go for 4,000 every year and lose. Matthew Stafford with Detroit, 4 and 5. Who cares? But yeah, give me them Texans. Big dub against them Bears.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like the Texans a little bit more in this matchup, only because I feel like C.J. Stroud, as you mentioned, he's a little more seasoned and knows how to win ball games, where Caleb Williams is obviously still trying to find himself a little bit. So, the interesting part, though, in this matchup, as you mentioned, is the defense, and not just the Bears on the Texans. The Texans were a pretty decent defense last year as well. So I'm interested to see how this plays out, but I still like the Texans because of all that firepower you mentioned. Not that the Bears, again, they also got firepower on their side too. Although
Houston, when you in the dome, you don't got to worry about great AC. No, good field, man. It's going to be a track meet out there. I think it's going to be a lot of offensive firepower on Sunday.
And Diggs is happy now, getting some, little touchdown love. So he's excited, and that's a good thing for this ball game. So I like the Texans in general for the season, and I like them in this matchup. All right, well, I'm taking off for the night because it's time for our Skadoop of the week. Before I head out, thank you all for joining us tonight, and do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit like, give us a comment. We appreciate you. It's time to end the show with the Skadoop of the week.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's going to score.
Listen, man, I am Ben Troupe. This is my Skadoop of the week. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but I want to go back to it, not to belabor the point, but the situation that happened outside of, the Miami Dolphins Stadium with Tyreek Hill. A lot of life lessons happen in that. One, Tyreek Hill showed what it's like to be a professional athlete, but have to definitely make sure he's a professional all the time. This man was speeding. And because he was speeding, they tried to manipulate him. They tried to embarrass him. But he maintained his poise in the midst of being disrespected, in the midst of not being treated like a human being, not being treated like a man. He got out. No, he was pulled out, thrown on the ground, picked up to be put back on the ground again. Shout out to his teammates, Calais. But here's what people need to see. Here's the deeper thing I'm trying to say. To those people who only see the police officers doing their job and Tyreek Hill as being a thug, right? As being a person who don't know how to appreciate his position, you got to ask yourself, are you the problem? Because anybody that's ever gotten pulled over, myself included, I've never been asked to get out of the car. I've never been asked to roll my window down. I never had my window slapped on. I'm saying that to say Tyreek Hill is a person who plays football. He's not a thug. He's not an animal. I'm just talking about the comments of different things that I've seen. But I want you guys to go back and look at the tape and ask yourself, why are you so quick to defend the people wearing blue? Whatever color they had on. Tyreek, hey man, I'm happy that it all ended up well. Keep doing what you're doing. But look, at the end of the day, I am being true, right? This is no weddings in the fall. Listen, you can get married in the spring. You can get married in the summer. You can even get married in the winter. If I catch you in one of these nice churches in the fall, I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna be the big black guy with baby powder in my hand. I'm gonna slap the hell out of you wearing baby powder, with baby powder, because you shouldn't be there. You married to the game. I am being true. This is no weddings in the fall. Thanks for watching.